What's going on, guys? Welcome to Two Guys, One Podcast. And in the blue corner, standing in 5'10" and 200 pounds. He's got luscious blonde hair. That's straight asexual. That's not meant to be anything other than that. It's just a good observation.
What the fuck?
And in the red corner, we have me, who weighs 200 pounds, roughly, maybe 180. We don't know. I don't weigh myself. I don't care. I don't fat shame myself. And I'm also 6 foot tall, so I have a 2-inch advantage over Lau. We're not going to fight, but if we were, now you know the statistics.
Ooh.
Damn. And that's a way you enter a podcast, is just like, let's get ready to podcast. That's how you enter that.
Wow.
Right there. I blew your mind, didn't I?
You fucking did, dude. You didn't say a word.
Yep.
Before
I didn't even let you know. I didn't even let Lau know that was going to happen.
Deer in headlights.
We are excited for number 4, ladies and gentlemen. 4 is a pretty good number.
Number 4.
Episode 4. And a subject we wanted to talk about this week is Jackass. Everything and anything Jackass.
Jackass. From
Ryan Dunn to Bam to CKY to Steve-O, all of the classic Jackass stuff. We wanted to talk a lot about that. Like last episode, we did want to open up with whatever the fuck we want to talk about, because this is our ride. It's your ride too. You can ride if you want. I personally wanted to discuss, and I know I didn't care to see, I said a podcast ago, I think it was the last one, maybe the one before that, I said I didn't give a shit. You know, Conor McGregor owes me money, and I didn't give a shit to see who he fights.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
I did.
I remember that.
I'm owning up to the fact that I want to see his next fight. I stand corrected. He's going to fight Cowboy Cerrone, Donald Cowboy Cerrone, who's a really good fighter, and it's took him a long time to get to the belt. So let's give a little applause for Mr. Cowboy.
I don't know who any of these men are, but
let me tell you something.
Applause.
You applauded, and that was respectful. That's all he needed. I'm rooting for whoever wins because, like I said, McGregor did do that much. He blew my fucking faith in him. So that's where I'm going on that, is if Cowboy wins, awesome. He deserves it. If Conor wins, it's a comeback for him. So either way, it's exciting. It's a good fight. You guys should tune into that. Maybe we'll report on it after it happens. I don't know when it's going to happen, though. I've been trying to keep up with Floyd Mayweather's next fight, and he's like fucking around with Manny Pacquiao talking and stuff. And he went to Japan to fight. I don't even know the fucking dude because I'm not Japanese, but yeah, he went over to Japan to fight as a kind of a corny fight. After he said he's no longer going to fight,
he's a bitch.
I don't like Mayweather
I'm just
very
kidding.
much.
I don't.
Mayweather's all right. He's all right. He's a wonderful boxer.
The only time I've ever seen Floyd Mayweather, because I didn't watch boxing, I don't follow anything, but I was watching an episode of Ridiculousness.
Was he on Ridiculousness?
With Rob Dyrdek. He was a guest one time.
Wow.
And in that, he came up with the really cute lady when Rob announced him and everything, and they sat down, and Rob's like, so someone told me you have $1 million in your backpack right now. And Floyd, he flips his backpack upside down, turns it in, and $1 million falls out.
Are you sure it was $1 million, though? Maybe it was a bunch of ones. He had like maybe 100,000
it was
of
Benjamins,
ones.
Bro. All I spotted was Benjamins. Dude.
Old Ben.
And then, so ever since then, that's the only memory of Floyd. I don't know.
I watched him and Pacquiao fight. I like Pacquiao, though. Pacquiao's pretty cool. I like boxing. It's a little less Neanderthalish than the UFC.
Do you think any of those guys would last in a street fight?
Listen, that's a good that's a good little deal into Mayweather, because Mayweather agreed to fight in the octagon, and for a while he trained. Right before this Japanese fight, he trained to be in the octagon. He made a video of him stepping in the octagon and like trying to act all badass about it, like he's ready for it. You know, I got excited, but then it comes out that he's making rules. He says, "Well, they oh God, what were the rules? I'm sorry, I don't have the exact rules, but I remember he came out with some rules like they have to be certain gloves, they have to be I can't be knocked out, or he can't grapple me." He made these rules to where it wasn't UFC anymore. It was some stupid boxing match.
Kind of not a real fight.
It was a boxing match in the octagon with gloves thinner, and it was not. I don't feel like that was needed. That's why I don't like Mayweather. He's a shit talker. He talks a lot of shit. I mean, he backs it. Don't get me wrong, he backs it, but Too much shit. Just stop. Impress me in the ring or the octagon. Don't impress me at the fucking press conference. Woo. You got some viral press conference. You know, like I said, McGregor looks like a jackass every time he walks out there in a suit, but he pulls it off. People love it. People eat it up. I personally don't. But, you know, I'm a different type of Terminator out
There
here.
you go.
I'm a T fucking 92 is what I am. Not even the liquid one, you know? That movie just came out when I was born.
That liquid guy was badass, though.
Oh yeah, and that actor's wonderful. They're remaking Terminator, but it's not necessarily a remake. I think it's a sequel to Judgment Day because it has Sarah Connor in it. It has Linda Hamilton who played Sarah Connor.
Oh.
She's coming back, and I don't know if Edward Furlong's coming back.
Terminator
That'd be cool.
2 was always my favorite Terminator.
Oh, great story. The first one was even really good, and that's why the second one was so good, is because it was just that much better than the first one. Like when we were talking about Dream Warriors compared to Nightmare on Elm Street. Nightmare on Elm Street's a beautiful fucking movie. It's wonderful. But when you watch Dream Warriors, you're like, this is fucking that on steroids. That's how I felt about Terminator 2. I don't know why Terminator 2 came up, other than I'm a fucking T92. I know that.
T92?
What are you, a T88? Somewhere around. We won't fucking discuss it. You already know the guy's height and weight. What more do you want?
That's right.
I don't know. I thought Jackass would be a really good topic. I've been watching a lot about the Ryan Dunn, the memorial of Ryan Dunn. That was super sad when I found that out.
Yeah, that sucks. He was one of my favorite guys in the whole.
I was hanging out at my now wife's house where she lived, and we got the news that in 2011, and I'm going to look up the date right now. But in 2011, Mr. Ryan Dunn died. And I'm not going to lie, I was so involved with Jackass because we skateboarded and stuff. So I was so close to that group that I felt like I lost a friend.
Right. Like he was somebody
Ryan Dunn was very sad.
Up to. I did. Like I loved skating because of those guys, and you know, we did.
You know what's weird is you've always reminded me of a Ryan Dunnish. Like, you're my Ryan Dunn, you know what I mean? Like, that's how I've always felt about it. Just like, Ryan was such a cool guy. He died June 20th, 2011. And if you don't know how he died, which you probably do, he was driving way too fast with another... He was a filmer for the crew. He was a close friend, and it was oh god, I'm trying to find his name. It was really sad because he was like an ex-Marine, and they crashed their car, and they were just going, you know, so fast, and they fucking went through a guardrail, couldn't stop in time.
Hit a guardrail, hit some trees.
The messed up thing is, a lot of people said he really didn't drink that much, or they wouldn't have let him leave. Ryan, I guess, wasn't like that. He didn't drive drunk.
Huh.
So they were wondering if they were just jamming music and having a good time, you know, being a celebrity. This is when Jackass 3 had come out, and they're making money like hand over fist.
Cash in their pockets.
Let me ask you something personally. Can you name another television show that only aired for 2 years, but had 3 huge, successful movies, and everybody from that situation made really good money and moved on to do other things?
Wasn't that Jackass?
Absolutely. That was the only one I can think of. 2 years on MTV. 2 years is all Jackass had. Did not get canceled. Well, since they only aired 2 years, maybe they did. Yeah. Maybe they had to go to movies because they were, you know, pushed out.
They actually were. They were taking over their slot on MTV and beyond. It became the thing.
Let me tell you something. You don't think MTV back in the day. Like, see, because MTV, this was around 2000. So MTV was already questionable because they stopped airing so many music videos, and they started, I don't know if they had started Teen Mom yet, but that's when they kind of lost me. MTV2 came along, and now MTV's this different thing. It's no longer music television. It just kind of has some music in it with other things. And Jackass was such an excellent addition to that because we were questioning MTV. I've never really been a huge fan of MTV, but Jackass was the one thing MTV did right, I feel like. And the movies were huge. 3 huge films. Obviously, the third's my favorite because it was the latest one, and it was they went all out. I feel like they went balls out for part 3.
It was really good. I love them all. I've always been a fan.
Jackass. I watched a video Steve-O had this guy, and I don't know the guy's name. I'm sorry I'm not more prepared. It really doesn't matter. It's a fat guy who's on YouTube doing a bunch of stunts. I watched a video where this guy wrapped firecrackers. Do you know the long string of red black cats that you light, step away, pop, 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 Chinese shit? He wrapped it around his neck and lit it and let it go off around his head.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh.
so Steve-O got with this guy. Oh my God, it was ridiculous. Steve-O got with this guy, and they made him a little ramp, okay, down to cactuses in the desert. So they're like, you're going to jump these cactuses? No, you're fucking not. They didn't build a ramp. His fat ass is going right into the cactuses. I watched it. I had to turn it off because I was like, oh, he took all of his clothes off and did it. And it was grotesque. You feel the needles poking in through you and shit. It was so bad. I may be a pussy. I don't know. I couldn't watch it. It looked like it hurt.
I don't think I would jump into a cactus. I mean, the money would have to be right.
If you're Steve-O, I guarantee with Steve-O taking time, he probably got paid for it.
Oh, I'm sure.
I guarantee he got paid for it. If you do something stupid, don't do it for free.
There's always incentive, yeah.
Absolutely. But I saw that, and that kind of reminded me and took me back to where we would see things on MTV that people had never seen before. And let me tell you something. We'll start right at the beginning. Let's start, because Jackass is a huge topic. Let's start at the very beginning. Okay, mid-90s, early 90s, skateboarding's still pretty big, still huge, coming off that 80s flair. Now we've got new boards and people are kick flipping and figuring new tricks out. Skateboarding was blowing up.
It was blowing up to the peak of its game.
One of the magazines that used to cover a lot of stuff with skateboarding, college frat parties, just a crazy, it was Jackass magazine basically before Jackass was Jackass. Big Brother magazine, Jeff Tremaine, the director and producer of Jackass, was I think he owned Big Brother, if I'm not mistaken. But he started Big Brother magazine, and Johnny Knoxville was a part of that. And I remember the story of what really started Jackass was Johnny Knoxville had did.
Ooh, interesting. I love this.
He had did a stunt, and it's on. I believe it's on Jackass 1. Actually, the first movie.
What was the stunt?
It was the stun gun stunt. He did pepper spray, a stun gun, and a taser. Okay? He did all three of them and took them like a champ. And that was an article he was doing on self-defense for Big Brother. They were doing crazy shit like this. Steve-O was in Big Brother setting his hair on fire and doing a flip at a college party. You know, Wee Man was in it skateboarding around dressed as a Oompa Loompa. You know, they were doing Jackass before it was Jackass. What started Jackass was the Johnny Knoxville taser test, the article they did, and right around the same time in Westchester, Pennsylvania, Bam Margera and all of his friends around the neighborhood hopped on camera, and Bam was a professional skateboarder when he was like 13. Okay, he started really young. Yeah, in 2000 and 99 and 98, you've got CKY coming out. These were not necessarily skateboard videos. They were something new.
So, like, put it in, like, perspective. It was like whenever, like, Ryan Dunn moved to where Bam lived when they were kids, they went to school together. They were friends. And Bam's older brother was, like, you know, drummer, was always in a band. And
they started a band, too.
Dunn, Ryan Dunn and Bam started a band. It was called Soul Roach.
Soul Roach, yes,
Soul
sir.
Roach.
Oh, wow. I remember on the tribute to Ryan Dunn, Bam sitting there, and he's like, I can't believe I'm even telling people this, but it's so cool to know those things, you know, so you got to have a start somewhere. And, man, let me tell you something. In my head, Big Brother did start it all, but the reason they even got the pilot lit is because of CKY, is because of Bam and what they were doing. They were doing insane things. Listen, Rab himself has a podcast. I mentioned this the last episode or the episode before that. I believe it was the last one. Go check that out. Rab interviews Rake Yon from Viva La Bam. He interviews Chris Pontius, I believe. He has Bam on there for about an hour. Go watch those, and those are so interesting if you like to see interviews like that or topics. But Rap himself started doing stand-up comedy recently, and he tells the story of in CKY, there is a bit where he tells the story that he used to listen to a lot of George Carlin. Okay, he loved George Carlin, and George Carlin has this bit where he says, here's some things you never fucking see in real life. And one of them is what he said. He said, you never see a guy going full sprint and taking a shit. And he said that was inspiration right there. That's where that bit came from. He took a bunch of laxatives. He said, I took a couple, And they waited an hour. It didn't really affect me. He said, so I said, fuck it, and took the whole bottle. He said, so we're sitting there, and my stomach's kind of gargling. He said, I had to have some coffee because that kind of upsets my stomach. And he feels the gargling and stuff. So he said, he ran and did it. He had to go. He started shitting everywhere, but he ran full speed and took a shit down his leg. It was spraying everywhere. He was wearing a jock strap. It's a nasty story, but it's a funny one.
Disgusting.
He says that, and you can always go check this out because it was at a Detroit comedy club where he tells this story. He probably tells it on other stages too, I'm sure, but it was a really funny story. He said they got the bit done, and he said, I couldn't stop shitting. So I ran to Bam's house at the time, and he was washing himself off with the hose. Balls dangling, shit going down his ass and everything. He's just butt naked, rinsing his ass out. He looks through his legs, and there is the neighbor with like his 4-year-old daughter. So instantly he says, I panicked, I grabbed my things, and I ran in the house, and everybody's freaking out. What are you doing in here? And he's like, they just saw me. Am I a pedophile? What happens now? What's going on? I don't think anything ever came about it, but it was just a crazy, crazy story. And he said that's what inspired that bit. He said also, he added to it, and he said, after the bit, he took so many laxatives, he couldn't stop shitting. He kept running to the toilet and like, oh, fuck, it just explodes and explodes. He's like, he panicked because it was like hours of this. So he called his mom, who was I guess a registered nurse or a doctor or something. And she said, take this. I forgot what it's called. He took a little something, and it was to counteract the laxative. So he said, I felt like I had to shit really bad, but nothing would come out. He would get to the toilet and be like, oh, because it was counteracting. But he said it fucked with his stomach so bad it hurt because it was rumbling so much. Damn. Such a good story. A nasty story, but it's Jackass. We're going to get that.
Fuck yourself up. Pretty bad.
Like the story of Steve-O. No. Brandon DiCamillo. That's a hard name to fucking say. Everybody's got weird names.
Brandon
DiCamillo and Ryan Dunn, they were in a hotel room. And thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
They were in a hotel room, and Brandon DiCamillo wiped his ass and then wiped the shit on Ryan Dunn's lip. Oh, this is how fucking cool Ryan Dunn is, okay? He's in the bathroom wiping it off, and they're videotaping him, and they're laughing, and he's like, I'm pissed. He rubbed shit on my face. Are you kidding me? Like, what the fuck? And the guy behind the camera, I don't know who it was, but the guy behind the camera said, you should get him back and rub some jelly on his face. And he looks at him, he says, like, the guy just shit on my face, and you're talking about jelly? Oh, it was funny. He was so cool about it. He pissed in his mouth. Yep. Bam says he probably got a good couple gallons of piss in his mouth. And you got to be close to people to do these things, man. Like the Black Mamba, where they would sleep in the car and they'd put a big black sock on their hand and get in the guy's face and wake him up, slap him right in the face and wake him up.
Bam Margera is renowned for being deathly afraid of snakes. And there's a couple of bits in the movies where they lure him into a place and then the floor falls out. There's fucking snakes.
Snakes everywhere, yep.
Dude, and he's just, the look on his face, like they just get it all, like.
He almost cried that day. That's the same day he fell into the hole by the van. He's pissed. He's ranting. He's like, it just feels like everybody's attacking me today. It's always me today. And then he falls into a hole that they set up. They did not know he would step into it. Like, it just was so happened he was having the worst day, and then he got the last bit of him stepping into the hole. And he was so mad. He's like, it's not even funny anymore. I just want to go home. And that kind of, like, I wonder what kind of tolerance you have to let your friends do crazy shit like that. You have to have some pretty close fucking friends, man.
There are always lines, but, they got paid good money for being extreme like that. Buddy. That's what inspired, millions of people to watch,
Yeah. MTV definitely scored with Jackass. It's crazy, like I said, and I can't hint this enough. I can't talk about this enough. 2 years on TV, and these guys got 3 hit movies. 2 years is not a long time to be on TV. Seinfeld was on for fucking ever.
It's because it's just
and
good,
it sucked.
funny entertainment. A lot of people, stuck-up people, sticking their nose up like, oh, Jackass, it's dangerous, and it sends a bad,
My mom hated Jackass.
It's like, but it's, like what it is, it's just being young and wild and free,
The freedom.
Like fucking, just not giving a fuck and doing whatever the fuck you want.
They're not really that insane. I mean, they are to a level they are because they went through with it, but they're not really nuts, dude. They were just trying to get good bits for the camera.
Right, and there were medical teams and full staff and
absolutely. I was watching a thing on Wild Boys where they would go places and they would drink with the tribes and stuff. And Steve-O was talking about how they have a healthy competitive. It's always a competitive relationship. If he gets a good bit on camera, I have to step it up. I have to one up him. It's not disrespectful. It's competition. It's healthy competition.
Sometimes it's not so healthy competition because I remember the bit where he gets a hook put through his cheek. Chris Pontius puts a hook through fucking Steve-O's cheek, dude.
He fishes for sharks with him. The shark actually gets that close to Steve-O's foot and he kicks it. Yeah.
He didn't know he kicked it.
I just kicked the fucking shark, man.
He kicked the shark, man.
Oh, fuck.
Oh.
There's always that story that they tell of how Steve-O, when he first... See, Steve-O went to clown college. He didn't really know where he was going, man. He was kind of lost. And he found Jackass. He found the guys from Jackass and would not stop following them around until, like, they just said, fuck it. They said they tried to lose him one day and he still caught up to him, you know? They were like, we couldn't shake Steve-O. We knew he was meant to be because he was annoying, but he was one of us. You know, he wanted to get good footage.
He was in to win it.
Here's the thing. I don't like imitations of Jackass. I don't want anybody else to do the same shit. We've seen it.
Definitely not advocating that.
I was worried about...
Don't go out and do stupid shit.
Well, no, absolutely. But at the same time, shows. People duplicating it.
It's true.
There's prank shows and there's good ones. I love Impractical Jokers. That was one that did not take from Jackass, but it's inspired by Jackass.
Definitely.
Like, you know,
that's good shit.
It's more prank.
Buddy's fucking, you know.
It's always good to let that out. And those guys are middle-aged, you know. And now the Jackass guys are 40s, 35. No, because Bam was 35 back in the day. He's probably 50 almost now. Probably 40-something. Yeah, he's 40-something. I used to watch Viva La Bam a lot. Viva La Bam was my shit. We all did because we skated, you know. That was when everybody was wearing the audio shoes that were Viva La Bam with the heartogram. The heartogram was everywhere. Nobody knew where the fucking heartogram came from.
Dude, I remember being in high school and girls would have that shit carved into their thighs and shit. The fucking heartogram.
Man, let me tell you something. Bam was, in my eyes... Everywhere. Viva La Bam was always the life I wanted to live, you know. It was such a nuts situation.
Yeah.
He talks about how when they left Castle Bam, when he went back to it, it felt like an abandoned amusement park. Because so many things had happened. He would have hundreds of people at his house at all times. He had Slayer play there when he first moved in. Slayer!
That's fucking awesome, though.
Blasting the windows out. You know, he had Turbo Negro play on there. That was not a racial term. That's the band's name, excuse me. But... You know, just that show brought a lot of really good content. He was in an interview. He was actually on a podcast where it was his comeback because he did go through some problems after 2011. Mm-hmm. That's when Jackass split up. That's when things stopped. Was Ryan Dunn's death. Mm-hmm. It hit everybody really hard. And I remember watching Bam on the news and it made me tear up because I was just so connected with those guys that he's like, it's my best friend, man. I grew up with them. I loved them and like a brother. And he's gone. I'll never see him again. And, you know, we all know...
Shit's hard.
A lot of us know how that is. It's rough. You know, it's not a good thing, but I think I'm proud of how, like, Steve-O came out of his addiction, and now he's healthy. I love that. I love those stories, conquering the addiction. Bam is teetering. Last time I heard about Bam was he was back on the wagon, and they tried to have an intervention, and he's just not giving in. He did put out some footage. I love with the comeback footage that Vice put out. Vice put out this Bam Margera footage of now where he's skating with his wife. He has a kid now, yeah. Nice. I want him to get clean, man. You know what I always wanted? The Ryan Dunn tribute on MTV was beautiful. Why don't they do a Jackass 4? Not done yet. They've mentioned this. That's what they were going to call it. Not done yet. D-U-N-N. And dedicate it to Ryan. Ryan put his life on the line for this show and for these movies.
He did.
Do a fourth fucking film and do it right. Do a send-off. You know what I mean? Yeah. This is what we were. And, you know, yeah, they're older and they don't want to do it anymore, but I think fans would eat it up. I know I would. I'd go see Jackass fucking 4. Are you kidding me? I went and seen all of like Bad Grandpa. I saw Action Point. I rented it. You know, that was a really good movie.
Loved it. Love that movie. Just like raunchy, nasty grandpa.
I did. Yeah, that was such a. I love how real it was.
So funny.
Wow, there are so many aspects to Jackass. It's unreal. There were so many people involved. You mentioned Dave England. And nobody really ever talks about Dave England.
He's one of my favorites. I saw a video of him, and they painted his ass green, made him sit upside down, and put little trees on it. There's the whole diorama built around his ass, and he took a bunch of laxatives beforehand. And just shits, they've got it in slow motion.
Oh, like a Pucano.
His Pucano just coming out of his. But you realize when the mountain slightly separates and the shit comes out, you're like, oh.
He was always the one to take shits. Do you remember the bit they did where you see a bathroom, and all of a sudden big ass turds hit the toilet and just cover it, and you see him standing above like a dollhouse?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Or like he was the guy to go to where he wouldn't do too much extreme, but like he would chug milk. He would do just enough to be on Jackass. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he was like a professional BMX or something. You know, I always like Chris Pontius. I thought Chris Pontius, Ryan Dunn, I thought those two guys were kind of the funniest. Johnny Knoxville's pretty funny, but Chris Pontius is nuts. Like he loves being naked all the fucking time. Even in Wild Boys, he just can't help it. It's weird.
He's gonna be naked.
All of them, fuck it. It's so weird. They shit and puke all the fucking time. That's all they do. I mean, that's why my parents never really liked it. They didn't stop me from watching it because they're like, well, fuck, he's watching Nightmare on Elm Street. The fuck difference does it make?
Yeah. Well,
other than like, you know,
shit and puke.
Now you've got Wee Man swinging his little dick in a fucking helicopter style, you know.
Yeah. I wince every time I see Preston Lacey's penis.
Oh my god. How many times have you seen it?
Well, I mean, if you watch the Jackass,
that's true.
Uncut, like
uncut. I mean, how appropriately said uncut.
Well, you know, those old videos.
They are old too, man. It's already 2019.
I remember they put baby powder in somebody's ass.
Johnny Knoxville put it in his ass and then farted in somebody's face. Did it go poof? That's what he said. Did it go poof? Right in his face. It was perfect. It was just the great. Oh, what a great bit. And it's just a fucking fart. That's how funny farts are sometimes. I don't know, man. All their bits were really funny to me. Sometimes they would get a little aggravated. I remember when Aaron McGehee and Bam Margera got into a little fist fight because they were fucking with each other and it just got old. But they were quick to like, Bam's just like, that's just kind of tense around here. He kind of hopped out of it. But yeah, you'd always be on fucking guard, dude. You're getting a payday, sure, but you're going to work for that shit. I love the bit where they put the big fucking hand in the hallway and the dude's walking down, boom, bam, right in the face. That's a good fucking bit.
I'd be a little pissed at first, like.
Or the one where Johnny Knoxville's in the closet deal and they've got the letter, okay? It's a heart. And it says, "Dear Jackass guys, you guys slept with me and some friends or whatever," and they're like, it's a huge thing they've got to read. So and it gets smaller as it goes. So when they get closer to read it, he goes, "Pop!" and he hits them with the big hand and shit through the wall. The best one he got with that was Wee Man's. They had a fucking chair right by it, and they said, "Stand on this chair." And I'm thinking, who the fuck puts a chair right there specifically? It was but it worked.
He punched him.
I would never trust anything they say.
Dude.
Bam's sitting there laughing while Wee Man's sitting on the chair, and he didn't even catch on to it. He didn't care. Or maybe they knew sometimes and just knew it'd be a good bit. You know what I mean? I wonder that. I always like the things like getting chased by a bull. That shit's nuts. The openings to these movies were wonderful. The big shopping cart for the first one. You've got the bull run. The bull run was amazing. And then the little, awesome. Everybody's getting trampled by these normal sized bulls and shit and cows. And then Wee Man, you see a little calf run him over. I thought that was always funny. Wow. You really can't ever say enough about Jackass, man. Jackass was a really good fucking idea. Really.
It really was. And it paid out really well.
You think back and it's like when you're watching it, even the people who liked it admitted, yeah, this is kind of stupid. but it's entertaining. We're not going to do this shit, but I'll watch that guy fucking do it, you know? You want to throw yourself off a cliff on a shopping cart, be my guest. I'm not going to be part of it. One of the biggest stunts I thought they ever did, and I can't believe he lived through it. I believe they stuffed Ryan Dunn in a barrel. And it wasn't even for Jackass. This was for like Viva La Bam or some shit. And they put him in a barrel and they sent him down a fucking waterfall.
Oh, shit.
Fuck you.
Oh, shit. That's going to be rough.
Shut it. Sealed it. And he's floating. And they don't know, you know, they ran down there to get him. But god damn, I wouldn't trust those guys.
Damn.
I mean, I guess they cared enough to get each other's backs in times like that. But good Christ.
Good Christ.
I didn't just take a whiz. I was pouring some water. We got a frozen block of water over here that's barely giving us anything, like we're in the fucking desert. Anyway, I don't know, man. God, Ryan Dunn's death hit me really hard. I know I really want Bam to get better. I think Jackass 4 would be a good idea, but Steve-O is quoted to say Jackass 4 will probably never happen. But they're just too far gone now. You know, it's kind of sad. I enjoyed watching Wild Boys sometimes. Wild Boys wasn't bad. It was kind of like, you know.
I actually watched something on YouTube, and it was Steve-O being interviewed, but all the while was eating vegan chicken wings, because I guess he's vegan.
Hot Ones.
Because he's all for animal rights.
That was the Hot Ones interview, right?
Yeah. And
they sit down and eat hot wings and shit. That's
and he goes through the whole thing. Like, he gets through every bottle, like, which is impressive.
Well, bucket Steve-O. If he can't get through a hot wing, nobody can.
It's true. I mean, he would snort wasabi.
Oh, fuck. I remember T.J. Miller was on Hot Ones. Do you know who T.J. Miller is? He's curly hair. What is he in? He's in Deadpool. He's in Deadpool. He's the curly-haired guy with the glasses. The bartender, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, T.J. Miller. Yeah. He's a stand-up, and he did that show. His interview was fucking awesome. Him and Eric Andre. Eric Andre is a whole nother subject. I won't get into that right now. But fucking,
You said butt fucking.
He was on the Hot Ones interview, and he was pouring hot sauce that he had brought onto the wings. I was like, what the fuck, dude? They've already got hot sauce on. What the fuck are you doing? That's insane to me. But he did it.
That little extra.
Yeah, he's a bad motherfucker. DJ Khaled couldn't even get through the third wing. You know, he can't get past Tapateo. And he's like, oh, shit, man, this Tabasco is spicy. I'm tapping out, dog. You played yourself. That's what he's always saying. You played yourself. I can't stand him. What the fuck does he do? He makes beats and then gets in the video and dances like he's rapping to it or something? I ain't never heard that motherfucker rap. I've heard him sing a little bit, I think. Maybe he sang a little bit. I don't know. I don't like him. He's annoying. DJ Khaled! Fuck you. There's so many other DJs out there. DJ AM, rest in peace. That dude was better than DJ Khaled. There's a lot of DJs better. I don't know. That's a whole other fucking thing.
It really is.
Speaking of music and DJs, though, Bam did, for a while, he had a band. He started a rap. How did we not start talking about Fuckface Unstoppable?
Steve-O made a rap, too.
Steve-O did rap, too, didn't he? It wasn't that great, but...
No, it was terrible.
Poor guy. I don't even think he really tried, though, man.
He's done more whippets than any other human being.
Yeah, you shouldn't rap if you're going to do, like, 100 whippets every day for, like, a couple years.
I mean, I'm all for having a fucking good time, but if it ends up with me on a couch looking like I'm seizing out due to lack of oxygen because of all the nitrous oxide I'm sucking, like...
Johnny Knoxville one time was throwing a knife around. He was throwing a knife around in the room, and he said it bounced off the wall and landed on Steve-O, who was passed out from whippets, and he didn't even, like, react to it. It just lacerated his back, and he had to go get stitches.
Wow.
Yeah, Fuckface Unstoppable was Bam's rap name. He had a song. He had the song, I'm gonna take my dick, bend it around, and fuck my ass. Like, did you ever hear that?
No.
Okay, hold on. Okay, we don't need visuals for this because we'll have audio. I have to show you this live, not live, but you know what I mean. I can't believe you haven't seen that. We'll type in Fuckface. First of all, that name was ridiculous.
Fuckface Unstoppable.
He's not. I don't know, man. I think he was going through a phase, some kind of weird phase. See, yeah, he's got a full fucking album. Bend My Dick. Let's listen to a little bit. We won't play the full thing. We'll just play a little bit so you get the idea of what he's doing, and he's fucking himself, literally and metaphorically.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah. Margadam Bami Moy.
He's like got a Rastafarian thing going.
He does.
Like I like it, it works, but
get knocked the fuck out.
Yo, check it. I would have bent my dick to my ass, so I could fuck myself. I would have bent my dick to my ass, so I could fuck myself. Oh, hell
I will.
I would have bent my dick back around my ass.
I can't believe you've
So I
never
fuck
seen that.
myself.
The one thing that saved him was he wasn't trying to do serious music. That's what saved him. Because I think if he tried to do something serious, it wouldn't have been that great.
Well, of course. Like, how many listens do you think he's gotten, like, views? I mean, I'm sure it's in the millions just because it's like,
It's Bam.
It's
People
Bam,
are
it's
still
out there,
fucking
it's in your
into Bam,
face,
dude.
It's got that.
Like I
Wow.
said, when I saw Vice releasing the footage of him skating again after Dunn's death, it was like back in 2017, I believe. Bam was kind of having a comeback. He was getting married. He had a kid, and he was skating, and he was skating good, and he looked like he was enjoying himself. He looked healthy.
Nice.
Very proud of the guy. Just like I was proud of Steve-O. Steve-O's annoying, but I still love Steve-O. I love all those guys. You go back to your childhood, that's one of those nostalgic things. You watch a Jackass, and you're in for something entertaining. If you're not entertained by Jackass, what the fuck entertains you people? For real.
What, Jim Baker? I mean,
Jim Baker.
Hate to bring him up, but fucking Jim Baker.
Did you? Okay, listen. You brought up Jim Baker. You done opened up a can.
Why? Why did I do that?
Listen, I got a funny. It's kind of funny. I used to wake up in the mornings, and there was two guys. It would be Jim Baker, and it would be the guy that had the raspy voice that sounded like Satan. God loves you. Like he would sound like that, and I was sleeping. And he sounded like a demon. But that, fuck that guy, Jim Copeland, something Copeland. Copeland Ministries. He's a dick. They're all fucking dicks.
It just scares me.
Jim Baker was on, I used to watch him. I didn't watch him. He was on my TV. I'd leave my TV on overnight, and I'd wake up for school, and he was on in the morning.
Yeah.
Every morning. So I got the gospel before I went to school. Maybe that's why I dropped out. Jesus was just getting a little too close, and I didn't want that.
It's like, Jesus, you're fucking up
Jesus, I need some space. This ain't you, it's me.
Now.
It ain't you, it's me.
It's me, Jesus.
It's the whole walking on water thing. If you want to know the truth, that's freaking me the fuck out. Make him whine.
Let me take the wheel, Jesus.
Let me take the wheel, Jesus. We got this. We're going to crash this bitch into an embankment.
Boom!
Anyway, it was on one morning, and it wasn't the average episode. For a minute, it had been off. And then all of a sudden, the setting changed. It used to be a big audience. It used to be this luxurious. His wife's fake. It's nasty to watch. It's really, he's got too much money. It's nasty to watch. He's wearing like a My Chemical Romance getup. Like, smack this motherfucker. Anyway, okay, it wasn't the normal program. He had been off for a while, and I didn't know anything about it. And I saw this episode one morning when I woke up, and it was him sitting there with his wife in the dark in chairs.
Isn't that fucking...
Listen, ridiculous. He got canceled. He lost a bunch of shit because he got called out on his bullshit. And he was bitching. He said, you guys obviously don't love God enough to give him money. That's what he said, dude. I swear to God he said something like that. You can look it up. It was, I saw true colors of that guy that day.
Yeah.
It was so disgusting.
It becomes like, it's not that I, God and Jesus, my good sir, I don't want to give you any money.
Let me tell you something about God. He don't have a fucking bank account.
He really doesn't. I don't think.
And if he does, it's Banco Christ.
I think that only exists in the human realm of consciousness. I don't.
God is what you make it.
God is what you make it.
God is not a physical being. God is pretty much the planet and the sun and what we are. This is all God.
Oh, sure.
If you want to know the truth about it. I mean, I'm not knocking anybody's religion. I absolutely think if you can grip onto something, do it. But for me, I don't want to spend my whole life on my knees praying to something that probably ain't fucking listening. I'm probably just talking to myself at this point and venting. I do that anyway, and I'm bipolar. Why? Now, there's times where I will, pray, and it's not in the religious sense, though. It's more or less of just, I'm usually asking why in a very upset tone. Like, why? Why? Whatever you are. Like, I don't know. That was way off fucking subject. But you brought up Jim Baker, and Jim Baker's from Missouri.
We're gonna call that segment "Wrong Turn."
The wrong turn.
That was the wrong turn, ladies and gentlemen.
That's what you not do in a podcast is bring up Jim Baker. he will lead to other things.
You let it there, and I had to say something. Oh my goodness.
Listen, and I'm not trying to be a dickhead when I say these things. I'm not fat shaming anybody, but his son's sitting over here plump. His wife's plump. His Jim Baker's wife is very Botoxed, huge boobs.
I know.
He's like well groomed with a My Chemical Romance outfit. Like, fuck you fucking fake. You think God gives a shit about money? That's the root of all evil, asshole.
Humans.
I've never believed in the collection plate. It's not my fault you guys don't want to pay taxes. Sorry. Not my fault. It could be a legitimate business, but nobody wants to pay their taxes because we have the freedom of religion. Not everybody wants to pay for your church. So the collection plate makes sense in that sense.
It's all context. Like, I mean, I've never been a person to really steadily go to church and whatnot. I don't think that religion is wrong or anything or whatnot, but the current institution of it is just not for
Scientology is a weird one that don't make sense.
Oh my goodness, like that's a whole different thing altogether.
That might be a whole episode.
The most ridiculous shit I've ever heard of. You know.
So stupid.
Lau says Scientology is fucking stupid.
Listen to me right now. I'm not going to shit on Christianity. I'm not going to shit on Christianity. I won't do that. That's disrespectful. What I will shit on is Scientology. You guys are a joke.
A little bit. I also do respect their institution for what it is. You know, for in the context of that, but also the same way, I would never try to pull anybody towards it.
Tom Cruise sucks. Let me just FY fucking I.
We're just telling secrets now.
That's wrong turn too.
We're just fucking telling secrets now, bro.
Are we just getting in that area? Is this what we're doing?
You're getting me pumped up. You know, I got some secrets.
Oh God, I don't know. I don't believe in all that shit. But if you believe in something, I applaud that and wonderful.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful to have that much dedication to anything in your life.
Absolutely, it's healthy. It can be healthy, but it can also be unhealthy.
This is true.
You know, I've always believed that when we were cavemen, there was maybe a young person who sat down and said, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah.
They were looking up at the stars like, "What the fuck are we doing?" It was probably an awkward moment, and
kind of became self-aware in his universe, and
somebody had to make up a story to make people feel comfortable about death. Because that's when I look at it, it's a way to make yourself feel like there's a higher power looking out for you. You have help. You have backup, ladies and gentlemen. You don't have any backup other than yourself. You're lucky if you have other people.
You've got you. And
I mean, if we're being realist here, physically, you got to do you. You can't rely on an outside source that you can't guarantee is going to help. But if you feel like it has, and you've seen signs and things, absolutely, that's perfect.
You're supposed to, as a person, as a human, like, and that's what I'm speaking of right now. Let's put Lau aside. Let's just take a human. Like, as a person speaking, you should just always think of yourself as not the only thing in the world. Ever.
See the bigger picture.
You have to put yourself beside it. You know, you have to. You goes back to what you're saying with the caveman and the first caveman that realized that was like, oh, there's cosmos, and I'm sure he had other.
Probably saw a shooting fucking star or something. You know what I mean?
Something that really pulled it out to him.
We didn't know those move.
And the best thing that he ever could have done was to share that. That's what the human gift is. We can remember. So the more we tell each other, the more we remember. As time goes on, this is like, and we build and learn from each other. Our houses and fortresses are stronger than ever.
Unfortunately, it also becomes a fucked up game of telephone.
It really does. People learn to put themselves beside things and orchestrate things.
Listen, I'm going to cut us off right there because we just went on a goddamn rant about religion.
Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry.
I never wanted to get political or religious, but hey, whatever. You know, we're having fun. Anyway, weighing in at 200 pounds. We already did that bit. We won't do that. But yeah, I surprised you with that. Anyway,
you totally did, dude.
Pretty much happy with that. Surprise. Let's get back to Jackass. That's the one I wanted to talk about. I got really excited about this subject because I've been watching a lot of stuff on it, and
dude, I like Jackass. I loved it. I love that we're doing the subject. But what made me love Jackass was like everyone that I knew, like because we skated. We skated around.
Ladies and gentlemen,
back
we
in the
skated
day.
every day.
Oh my god,
we skated.
every day.
Whether we were good or not, we were on the board. You understand me?
You're on it.
It was the way of life. You skate or die. If you ain't skating, you're probably dead, bro. But I don't skate anymore because I only do it for like exercise. I don't really try to trick out. I'm not stupid.
I don't trick out.
I got to where I could drop in and stuff again, and I could do my flip, and I could do some tricks and stuff.
I don't think I could ever go back to that. You know, like
I went to the skate park for a while and killed it.
thanks to Harris Smith, I know how to drop into a bowl and keep myself up, but I don't know if I can do that anymore, man. I don't know. I really, really like longboarding. I don't know.
I love riding it, down the road.
I have a longboard. I love it. I love to coast on it. And
one thing I didn't like about back in this era was the term poser was thrown around a lot.
It really was.
And it was unnecessary a lot of the times. It's like if a kid's sitting there trying his ass off for a trick, I was always the guy who couldn't really skate good, and I was literally doing it to impress other people. I wasn't. Because I went back to the skate park as an adult with kids by myself, I have a membership. I can drive myself there, buy my own equipment. It's a little different. I had fun. I'd put in my headphones and I'd actually practice.
There you go.
I was actually doing it for myself, and that's when I realized that's why I sucked. I was trying to do it for the wrong reasons. I wasn't skating because I loved skating, but I wasn't good because I didn't practice enough. I didn't put heart into it.
Mm-hmm.
When I put heart into it, I started doing more. I started landing tricks. I dropped into the bowl at the skate park, did a rock to fakie. If you've skateboarded before, that's not shit. But to me, where my stage was, I was so proud of that.
It's been a while since you.
I was able to go up this incline, do a pop shove it into a rock to fakie, and do all these things. Like I got
and mind you, like this was years ago when we were so much younger when we skated. Like I'm surprised you can still do shit like that. I can't. Maybe it's because I twisted my ankle a couple years ago, but I don't know what I can do anymore. I like coasting on my longboard, but I miss that whole era. Like it makes me think of Lords of Dogtown.
Oh, wow. Lords of Dogtown. Wow, yeah, Lords of Dogtown. That movie was phenomenal.
I loved it.
That was a wonderful movie. The nostalgia of skateboarding.
That was in our skater days when that movie came out.
Super good movie, man. And Johnny Knoxville was in that.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. Johnny Knoxville's a pretty decent actor. Not as far as acting, but I like seeing him in things, if that makes sense. He can play himself pretty good.
Mm-hmm. He can, yeah, always.
Lords of Dogtown. Wow, that's not even just the movie, but the story of how skateboarding started is so cool. It's
cool, and they would search out. I love that part where they would just search out. This is vast California suburbia. Search out empty pools, and then sometimes would even once they accumulated a group of friends, you'd have a few guys carrying a pump. You pump out a pool, 10 minutes, and then skate it up.
You know what was one of my you know what, that whole movie was really good. One of my favorite scenes is when Tony Alva runs into that guy, and you kind of see his ego pop out. Mm-hmm. And he says, "Hey man, watch where you're going," or some shit, and he punches him in the face, but the guy hits him back twice as hard and just lays him out, and now he's got this big bulge on his eye and shit. It really shows you that you gotta check your fucking ego.
You gotta check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Even sometimes I notice I have an ego. I don't like to admit it, but every guy has an ego. I'd like to think every human has an ego to a certain extent.
Sure.
You have something you're trying to withhold, that the idea of who you are, what you represent. But then also, it's kind of hard to be what other people want when you really don't give a fuck.
It's true.
About what they think. I care about what my loved ones think. I care about what my friends think, but to a certain extent. If you don't like me for who I am, it ain't my fucking problem. I absolutely, I loved Lords of Dogtown. Heath Ledger was in that.
Heath Ledger.
He was really good in that.
I love that.
God damn, that was a good movie. I can't believe you brought that up.
Yeah, that was good. Fucking Emil Hirsch. I think
he's the one who gets the cancer, right? Or
no.
Is that was
Jay?
Jay, because he shaves his head in it and
he goes all
becomes
cholo.
Like a cholo. Yeah. There's that scene where the kid who gets cancer is with his girlfriend, Tony's sister, at the what is that thing fucking called? The oh god damn, dude.
The what?
The pier.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. I don't know why I was thinking deep into that. The pier. They were hanging out at the pier, and then the Cholos, like, try to rob him and shit. And he's like, no, I know him. And he's like,
I
what
know
the fuck,
you.
Jay? Like, what the hell?
And then Jeff.
My name's Jeff.
And then Jeff.
Oh, fuck. I love that movie, but we won't even... we're already going off into fucking tangents. Which is fine. We do what the fuck we want. We do what we want around here. It's my house.
It's my house.
My rules.
So,
But, yeah. Grind was a really good skateboard movie.
I remember that movie. That was just fun. Like,
Tom Green's character, he went, shoo!
I love that part in it where Bam Margera, they're talking to Bam Margera.
Yeah.
And he's just like dismissing them and he just does this hand wave.
He does the little hand wave.
Shakes his head around. Goodbye.
I'm over it.
Waves his hands, walks.
It was clever because he was kind of like that. It was an exaggerated version of himself, but he was recognizing that he's kind of a dick. I respected that because I saw that scene and I was like, that's kind of probably how he is.
Yeah.
He's kind of arrogant. Ego. Check your fucking ego. You remember how we said make moves last week? This week is check your fucking ego, people.
Check your ego.
Don't be so mean to people. You don't know what they're going through.
Be cool,
if they're mean to you, fuck them. But if they didn't bring anything, don't bring anything to them, bro.
Yeah, man.
Don't start no shit. There won't be no shit.
That's right. You just gotta remember, man. Like everyone else that you meet on the planet that you run into, they're on their own journey too, man. You gotta fucking...
I feel like I've read that.
Keep yourself in check. Fuck yeah.
Easy. What's his name? Facetious.
It's on there. Look it up. Google it.
Google it. We'll bang it if you want. Fuck it.
Bang it.
No. Yeah, man, I really wish they'd make a part 4. The 3 movies are great. They did the 2.5, 3.5. Johnny Knoxville's doing his own thing.
I was hopeful, but when you said that they're all getting older now, they don't really want to do it, it's like, fuck, like Steve-O maybe,
Steve-O pretty much said it's not going to happen. He already knows, and he hangs out with Johnny Knoxville a lot. I'm pretty sure he would be the one to know it's not happening.
Not happening.
I think I saw Jeff Tremaine doing something with the WWE wrestling. They were pranking some kid, was talking to shit about Randy Orton, and Randy Orton walks up to him and shit, and Jeff Tremaine was in the room with him. I don't know what that's about. I don't know if he's doing shit for them now, or if like he's maybe hosting some kind of prank show, or he's doing something, I'm sure. If you looked up what Jeff Tremaine's doing, I'm sure you could find it. He's really good at what he does. He's good at putting people together. Yeah. I don't know. I just don't want to see it's weird because I don't want to see people come out now and go, oh, now we're going to poo on each other and puke everywhere. Like, okay, well, yeah, you're just looking like a jackass now. And that's not a pun. No pun intended.
Jackass. That's what it's always been about.
My dad hated that show. Everybody hated that show. It was a young kid show, man.
A lot of moms hated that show. A lot of grandparents hated that show, I'm sure.
I watched a lot of Viva La Bam, too, though. Viva La Bam, I thought... I really thought he was living like that, but it was more or less MTV came and exaggerated his life. They gave him a budget of like $30,000 an episode, and all he had to do was spend it all. And if he didn't spend it all, it would roll over to the next episode. So he would go to him, and he's like, dude, they literally let me do whatever I want. He's like, sometimes I would come up with the craziest shit, and they were like, well, yeah, but what else are you going to do? And he's like, what the fuck? Like, we're going to bring a horse in, and fuck it, or whatever, some crazy shit. And they would pay for it.
We're going to fuck a horse.
They built a moat at his house, had a family reunion, built a moat, built like Castle Bam, a section for them, brought an elephant in. Just this completely chaotic situation. Terry Kennedy flew him out from Compton.
Wow.
It was a good episode.
It would have been fun to be there.
Gosh, the drug addictions also run through Jackass like a motherfucker. Of course, Steve-O, Bam has his alcohol issues. But what a lot of people don't ever talk about, which really isn't Jackass, it's more Viva La Bam, is, why can I not think of his name? It's Bam's friend. Brandon Novak. He had a heroin addiction. He has his own little story with heroin. And I watched a video of, it was, I believe, probably in Bam's garage. Ryan Dunn confronts him, and there's a camera in the background. I don't know if they knew it was there or not. Somebody probably set it up for like an intervention type deal. But Ryan Dunn was very pissed off at him. He's like, dude, we were skating over here today. And you left. We were skating for 2 hours. You left twice, 10 minutes apiece. Brandon Novak said, I went out to the woods and threw my board really far and had to go find it. He's like, you think I'm fucking stupid? You went out there twice. He's like, you just did that twice? He's like, empty your fucking pockets. Brandon Novak empties his pockets. And Ryan Dunn grabs a syringe. He's like, what the fuck is this, dipshit? And he throws it on the ground, breaks the syringe, and throws him into the wall and walks out. He's so mad. And then Brandon Novak starts to cry a little bit. And then they have a video of Ryan Dunn sitting there explaining it. And he's like, man, I was hurt because he's a really good fucking dude. And he was a professional skateboarder. He had every opportunity in the world to be such a great person. And he's throwing it the fuck away. He doesn't care about any of us because he lies to us all the time. And now we've got to...
That's what heroin does.
Oh, drugs, yeah. Drugs in general, you've always got to watch that person, you know? If anybody you know has a fucking drug addiction, try to help them, be there for them. That's all I can say. I've lost a few friends to drug addiction and just they can't stop. And I don't think they had the proper people there for them. You know, I tried to be there for them as much as possible, but you can't always be there for everybody, you know?
It's true.
Not as much as you want. And, you know, it's just sad because I think I saw a video in 2017 of Brandon Novak coming out of fucking rehab in a wheelchair, picking his nose out of it, smoking a cigarette. I'm like, Jesus fuck, man, when are you gonna stop? You know? Yeah. And the thing that pissed me off is your friend's Bam Margera, bro. Step it up. Step it up because you could be somebody. You could be in his life. Look what Ryan did. Ryan stood right beside him and never let him down. He was always right beside him, and Ryan Dunn got everything, you know. And it's just unbelievable. Drug addiction's a bad fucking thing, dude. Heroin's nuts. Heroin's ridiculous. I was going through downtown one day. We were driving through downtown Springfield, and my buddy and I were headed to this to this place, Mr. Eddie's.
Mr. Eddie's.
To pick up some Kratom. And we had to drive all the way downtown on lunch break and stuff. And I smell this scent that smells like burning sugar cookies. And I look over at him, I'm like, dude, somebody's burning some fucking good-ass sugar cookies. He's like, bro, that's not burnt sugar cookies. That's fucking heroin. He's like, it's going to stick to your clothes. Watch. We drove by. We drove halfway back to work, and I could still smell it. I was like, holy shit, they were burning it right by us.
Nasty stuff.
Oh, it's disgusting. I don't see how you can smoke it if it smells that bad. Sometimes weed smells bad if it's dirt.
Mostly injected.
That's true, yeah. It's kind of like meth, you know. You either smoke it or inject it. I guess people snort anything, though. Steve-O snorted wasabi with some soy sauce mixed.
Yuck.
I couldn't imagine. I can't even.
I remember seeing
wasabi.
That scene, and he just kind of lines it up, and then he just gets it all down.
I think the wasabi destroyed my stomach one day. I could only imagine.
Ooh.
I don't know, man. Jackass may never get back together.
Probably not.
But you know what?
This is one last hoorah for them.
Some things need to stay sacred.
It's true.
That's what I say. Look at all the remakes. I think Joey Coco Diaz said it best. He was on stage and he was talking about Carrie. And then he says, can you believe they remade Carrie? Is nothing fucking sacred? Is nothing fucking sacred? I laughed so hard.
I love that.
I know. You know, it's one of those things. It's like, I agree with that. We were talking about Child's Play remake, you know. As a fan of those films, you just got to learn to accept it. They're going to do it. It's cash cow. They're trying to make money.
Oh, yeah.
Revamp it for the next generation so they can bank off those kids.
You keep kicking that dead horse till it stops giving you money.
Absolutely. I don't know, man. I feel like Jackass was a really good one for 4. And fuck, we managed to get a whole hour in of it.
There we go.
Would you like to do anything else, or you think we're fucking good?
Oh man, I think we've got all into it and
pretty much dwelled in everything we possibly can.
Yeah.
As far as I say, I mean, I'm sure I'll get called out on it, but like I guess we could mention the Dudesons.
The Dudesons?
The Dudesons from Finland.
I remember the Dudesons.
Absolutely. They're a lot like Jackass from Finland. They're funny as hell. Yakov. They named their pig Brittany and then found out it was a boy and was like, well, it's still named Brittany. You know, like those guys were great.
So funny. I miss all that stuff.
Brings back a lot of memories, don't it? A lot of nostalgia.
It really does,
you know?
man. Like,
that's why I thought Jackass would be a good one, man. We grew up with those guys, basically. We watched them get old just like nothing, you know? Like,
not just that, weird, like we saw the beginning of kind of everything. We were in that era, it feels like it's much slowed down now, but of like just everything, just cell phones went boom, and then this.
We used to have the old Nokia phones where it was just a little tiny phone and you had Snake and Tetris.
Facebook went boom
after MySpace, yeah.
And dude, YouTube's
still big.
Google.
Jesus.
I remember
we watched the beginning of all that. Isn't that strange to say that we saw the beginning of Google?
DSL.
We saw the beginning of the internet, bro.
DSL, dude.
Oh my god.
I remember when I was a little kid. I was born in '87. There's no internet. There's no connection like that.
No.
There were cell phones. Cellular
those
telephones.
Big bulky goofy ones.
Yeah, like kind of a big brick. One looks like a gray brick with the buttons on the front.
You beat the shit out of somebody with that.
Oh, you could throw that shit across the car.
Chuck it at their face.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just everything just went bam. And now we have this era of instant connection.
Yeah, it's really crazy that we've even, and it's, to me, I don't feel that old, but good God, that seems like a long time ago.
It really kind of was. I was talking to my little sister maybe a couple of years ago, and I was trying to I was telling her of a time where, when it was dial-up, and you had to hit enter and
remember the noises,
and you go downstairs, make a sandwich, and eat it, and then you're you've got mail, the very beginning.
Everything was one set. It wasn't like you had options. It was just everybody had the same shit.
Right, and I'm telling her all this, and she looks at me and she goes, "What's dial-up?" And I was like, "Oh fuck!" It really kind of put me in my place.
Kids will never know the struggle of dial-up. I remember anytime you wanted to play games, anything you wanted to do, I used to play Deer Avenger. It was the game that was like Deer Hunter, but it was the deer hunting the hunters. And it was funny as hell. Did you ever play that? You've never played that?
I don't think I have.
He instead of you know how they would do rattle the antlers, here's a call, they would do a call or something. He would say, "Hey, I got free Ted Nugent tickets. Who wants to see the Nuge?" Or free nudes. He would just say crazy shit, and it would lure a hippie or a fat drunk guy with a shotgun. It was a fun game. Oh. They had two of those. I used to play those, and then the hamster in the microwave, frog in the blender. That's kind of twisted games for a kid to play, but it was funny. It was fun. My little brother hated me grinding up the frog, though.
Ooh.
Frog in a blender, he'd be like, "What the?" He'd start crying and shit. Very sensitive over things like that.
Poor soul.
But, to each his own.
To each their own.
To each their own?
To each their own, his own.
To each is to own something.
Charlize Theron.
I think she's hot. Is that where were you going with this?
It rhymed.
Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron.
Uma Thurman.
Uma Thurman. See?
Wow. Uma Thurman.
Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga. She's just a peach.
The Campaign. Have you ever seen The Campaign with Will Ferrell and Zach Galifianakis?
I have.
That part where they're in the courthouse, and he goes to leave, and Will Ferrell's like, "You got to push it." Zach Galifianakis turns around and he says, push it real good," and he just leaves. I love that movie so much.
I love Zach
Galifianakis is awesome. Dude. Yeah, that's probably a whole other fucking deal.
I love it, dude. I heard him say something. Zach Galifianakis starts with a gal, ends with a kiss.
You remember his stand-up where he would get really drunk and he would lay on the stage and just talk? He was so drunk and he wasn't feeling the crowd and shit, so he's like, fuck it. He half-assed it, but he was still really funny.
He was still so funny.
And he could play piano.
Every minute of it.
Yeah. That dude's awesome. Where's the fucking Hangover 4? You might as well, right? Fast and Furious is on goddamn 10, ain't it? 9 or 10?
Oh, yeah, 10?
They're even doing a Calvin and Hobbes. Calvin and Hobbes?
I stopped at 6.
Fuck? Hobbes and, I don't know what it's called.
Calvin and Hobbes.
It's not Calvin and Hobbes.
What? Hobbes and what?
Hobbes is The Rock's character in the Fast and Furious franchise. And they are getting, him and Jason Statham's character from the Fast and Furious are getting their own movie together. It's like Fast and Furious presents something in Hobbs.
When did the Fast and Furious?
Calvin and Hobbs is a
Jason
fucking
Statham in it. What?
Yeah, it's a new movie coming out. It's they delayed like the next Fast and Furious for that. Whatever. Stop at like 3, man. If The Dark Knight has taught us anything, stop at 3, please.
I love The Dark Knight. Love it. But like I don't know, maybe it's like an Avengers thing. It's just pumping more and more and more. But
let me tell you something. I didn't give a shit about Avengers until I watched Infinity Warfare on Netflix. I like actually fucking got into it. I was like, holy shit, I've never seen these movies, but this movie's awesome. This is a really good movie. You know, I watched Ant-Man. I watched the first like 3 Iron Mans because they were good. After the 3rd Iron Man, I kind of quit. You know, I didn't watch Thor because I don't give a fuck to watch Thor. The DC comics. I wish the DC movies would do better. Oh,
I know.
My God.
I was thinking about that the other day.
How do you fuck up Batman? How do you fuck up Batman?
I don't know what they did. Like fucking Ben Affleck. I mean, hats off to you. Love the actor.
I was down with him playing Batman, dude. Listen, I went back and watched.
It was cool. Like, but now it's. I don't know why it's just not.
I think
why is it not working?
The Batman movie that's coming out. Ben Affleck left that movie, and I believe they're getting somebody younger to play like a younger the origins of Batman. So it's just going to be called The Batman, and it's going to have how Batman started. I think, which would be a cool movie, honestly, because you never really see The Dark Knight. I guess, yeah, the Dark Knight series. Batman Begins was Batman Begins. Why? I guess they have. Don't do it. Fuck it. You're gonna ruin it.
Do it. Yeah.
Gotham needs to be snowy and dark again. I know that. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Go a little bit comic book, but just enough.
I missed that little bit of Tim Burton.
Until Joel Schumacher got involved. Jesus Christ. Joel Schumacher killed it with Batman Forever, but it was still kind of like Fruity-esque.
I did like the movie because I always loved Batman, but at the same time, like many years later, like you know, when I wasn't a child anymore, when I watch it, I'm like, oh my goodness.
Val Kilmer and George Clooney can eat a dick compared to Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton was Batman, and he should have remained Batman. I feel.
Michael Keaton's by that time when those movies came out, he was how old?
He was already old in Batman. That's right. He was already old back in the 90s. It might take
a lot to fill that bat suit, you know.
Yeah. Ben Affleck didn't do bad. I certainly like Christian Bale's. Christian Bale's, I did not like at first. It grew on me by the 3rd one. I was like, okay, I've accepted him as Batman. Like, he's all right. He plays a good Batman. The voice change thing made sense. That bugged me a lot. And then I thought about it, and I was like, they're doing a real take on Batman. That's how Batman would have to be.
Harked on the Christian Bale voice.
Ben Affleck wasn't bad. I went back and watched Dawn of Justice, and it was just poorly written. Good actors, good movie, decent movie, but just badly written. Justice League, badly written. Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot's a babe. So, I mean, that's the only reason I watched that. I mean, I hate to be a misogynist. I guess that's kind of misogynist. She's really hot. I watched it because of that. That's it.
I give it that.
I didn't really care.
Super cute.
Yeah, she's all right. And I'm saying she's all right like I'm a fucking 10 or whatever. I'm like easily a 4 on a good day. Yeah, they could do way better with those movies. Aquaman apparently was a hit, but Aquaman looks so, I don't want to offend anybody, but kind of, hey, you know, it looked a little like I wouldn't be into it.
Hey.
You know, how do you fuck up Batman and Superman?
It's a total fucking mystery.
It's a mess. I was kind of excited for the Batman, and then all of a sudden Ben Affleck's not in it. I'm like, okay, what are you doing? And then they said, well, he's stepping aside literally he didn't say he's done playing Batman. He said he's not playing Batman in the Batman because they want a younger guy to show how he started. So I think what they're going to do is they're going to try to get a guy that looks like Ben Affleck, kind of, and play off as like this was the origins of Batman, and here we're going to continue with these Justice League movies. They're trying to pick him up. You know, apparently Aquaman did good, Wonder Woman did good. It's just
they want to do that Avengers thing where it just
they did it a little too late. It's always weird to hear the 4th Dark Knight movie would have been a Batman and Robin, because at the end of The Dark Knight Rises, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, the cop in the movie, finds the Batcave, and dude, let me tell you something. I'm not the biggest fan of Batman or comic books or anything like this, but I did like The Dark Knight. I do like Christopher Nolan. Holy shit, that ending. Here goes a nuke off, killed Batman, and now this kid's finding the Batcave. So you're like, I know enough about comics that I'm like, is this Robin? Is this Batwing? What are you doing, you know? It was interesting as fuck. And I think he was supposed to be like Robin. I think he was supposed to be. They were supposed to do a
His
Batman and
protege.
Robin. Batman didn't die because his little bat chopper or whatever he was in, bat plane or whatever, that got blew up by the nuke. It's fucking Batman. Of course, he probably took precautions like that, so he survived. I think the movie's going to start out with him in the water coming back up, and fucking now Joseph Gordon-Levitt found the cave, and he's like, I'm aware of who you are and what he already knew that Bruce Wayne was Batman. I don't know why I'm laying out the Dark Knight movies right now.
I love them, dude.
They're beautiful movies. I wish they would have got to make that. I wish they would have. I wish Heath Ledger would have came back for the third one. I wish he would have still been a part of it, because I believe what would have been a cool concept would have been, you've got Bane. For a fourth one, maybe Joker comes back and he's been in the Arkham Asylum in part 3.
Right.
There could have been so many opportunities for wonderful universe. They could have started the universe there.
After he did that movie, Heath Ledger, after because he filmed that one complete, he was done with it, and then he did a movie, The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, and died during the film.
Yeah.
During the making of that, because he took too many pills.
What a wonderful fucking actor. Yeah, but let me tell you something. I'm not trying to start.
The best Joker.
Hands down,
ever. I don't think
a lot of people gave Jared Leto shit, but I was like, that's his take, man. That's his fucking take.
It was fun.
It was whatever. It was a fun movie.
Heath Ledger way better, though.
Suicide Squad wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad movie.
It was fun to watch.
I don't know how I feel about Will Smith. He's playing the genie in the new Aladdin, live action Aladdin.
I didn't want to end this episode on a bad note, dude.
I tell you what, we won't. I don't know how the fuck we got from Jackass to Blue Will Smith. We talked about Jim Baker. Jesus. We talked about a lot of weird shit in this one. We explained the Dark Knights in this motherfucker. Are you kidding me? Okay. Anyway, we're at an hour and 11. I think we're well over our limit. We're going to come back next week. We're going to do a surprise topic. It might even surprise us. Who knows?
Who knows?
But you guys should definitely tune in for that. Like, comment, subscribe. Comment anything you want. Like anything you want. If you want to fucking dislike it, whatever.
It.
Won't be the first, won't be the last. We still know that you gave a shit to even click any button, really.
There you go.
But we have been Two Guys, One Podcast. I am Cotter, and this is
Lau. What's up?
Lau. And we will be back next week with a whole new episode. Thank you guys for listening. We love you all. Good night.
Peace.